love hunting. It's not always about killing. It's just watching the world come to life in the woods and watching the animals and stuff that we are so passionate about. Love this stuff. Y'all stick with us. It's going to get good.
This episode is brought to you by River's Edge Tree Stands.
Ohio, it's one of those states that everybody talks about. It's one of those states that you dream about hunting. And as a kid, watching TV and watching hunting shows as a kid, Ohio always comes to mind. So me and Steven had been looking for the last couple years to find us a good piece of ground in Ohio. And we looked and looked and just really couldn't find anything at the time. And I had an opportunity to finally go look at a piece of ground in Ohio. So I got with Steven, told him, hey man, got a piece of ground. I'm gonna go look at it. If it's good, I think we ought to get it. So me and my wife and my daughter head up to southeast Ohio to look at a pretty good farm according to the maps that I looked at, the topos and the aerials. But I really wanted to put my feet on the ground before we was to sign any paperwork. We go up, take a look at it, and immediately I felt like, okay, we can make this work. I felt like the farm was really good and had potential. So I talked with the landowner, discussed, all the logistics behind it and the paperwork needed, this and that. And I told Steven before I ever got in the truck, I called him in the driveway of the farmer's house. And I told him then, I said, we need to lease this. I think this farm has potential. And he was over the moon knowing that we'd looked at the topos, we'd looked at the aerials, and now I finally was able to put boots on the ground and look at this piece of ground. And I told him, I said, I think it's going to work. This is it. This is the one we need to do. So fast forward, May, we signed the lease. This piece of ground is ours. And the anticipation of a new piece of ground to me is like a kid at Christmas. When you're 3 years old, underneath the Christmas tree, not knowing what's there. That is the biggest drive for me. I don't know what's on this farm. It looks good, but we don't know anything. So we signed the lease. We decided we needed to have a work weekend. So we decided Memorial Day weekend, we was gonna go up and set the farm up. Time to get tree stands hung, get our shooting houses put up, finally get some trail cameras out and let's see what's really going on this farm. Set up our trophy rock mineral sites that really draws in the deer for that time of year, that really allows us to kind of do an inventory, so to speak. And we was super excited to get, that weekend going and really get that farm set up for us. We all get there, and the emotion and the energy that we had was just off the charts. I felt like I was a kid again myself. We've got a lease. I'm doing it with my good friend Steven. Our wives are in camp with us. We just know that we wanted to have a good piece of ground that we kind of had control over with who was hunting, who wasn't hunting. We wanted something that was ours to be able to say, hey, let's either take this deer or let's give it another year. Ohio being a $1 state, we knew we had that opportunity. For us, me and Steven, it's not necessarily about his headgear. We want to shoot a mature deer. We're looking for a 4.5-year-old or older. In our eyes, that's a mature deer. We get them to that age, that's what we want to shoot, and that's what we really was excited about the Ohio lease. being able to have that age structure that we're able to get those deer to that age and be able to harvest those deer. Not knowing what's there at any given moment, you know, a giant could show up. And that's what really fuels us to do what we do. We've got tree stands to put together. We got shooting houses to put together. Trail cameras to put up, mineral sites to run. Got it all set up. It was pretty easy, pretty simple. Tactacam's got it figured out on that. We're out here, we're gonna put this camera on a scrape. I'm getting ready to do a mock scrape. So we'll power it on. Super simple. It's gonna run through the exact same thing. It's gonna pick up the best carrier and the strongest signal for this area. I've already got all of my settings done, that's done, but you can still do it remotely. But I still like to set all my settings when I first initially put them out. That way I don't have to worry about changing any settings or anything like that. And with the new 3.0 Pro, it's got the built-in GPS, so we don't have to use the app to be able to see what we're looking at. I know that I'm going to an oak tree that I'm gonna put that scrape on. So basically, I'm gonna position it right there. That looks pretty good. Plus also, it helps us capture any movement on this road. There it is, locked on, full signal, full bars. So we shouldn't have any issues requesting HD pictures, HD videos, or anything. Great job, Tactacam. But the guys, that just shows you how easy and how simple it is to set up your brand new Tactacam reveals. Make sure you go check them out today. And it was a full-blown weekend, super hot, but knowing that we now have a lease with the opportunity to kill a really good deer, was the emotion for that is something that I think still sticks to me today. So as season begins to come closer, me and Steven kind of map out. Steven lives 12 hours away, I live 5 hours away. We start to map out, okay, what's the time frame that we want to hunt? You know, what do we want to do to maximize our time with work and family? So we decided end of October into that first part of November we thought was going to be really good. Trying to do that pre-rut, that rut phase before it really gets into the kind of the lockdown phase. So we decided, okay, we booked it. So we're headed up for a week at the end of October, around Halloween.
Brought to you by Redmond, the maker of Trophy Rock, Real Salt, and Relight.
All right, getting packed up to head to Ohio. Excited about this. Our first trip out to hunt on the new lease that we got this year. Just really nice place, beautiful. It's a 12-hour drive for us, about as far east as you can go in Ohio. We've been running trail cameras, we've got stands all set. Got some pretty solid bucks, no giants, but definitely 5 or 6 bucks that kind of make the hit list and are ones that we're after. So gonna go ahead and finish getting this sucker packed up, and we are going to head east.
You want to take a trip in the truck? You ready to go? Ohio bound.
Luna, you ready to go to Ohio? 12 hours. 12 hours in the back of the truck.
We set the trip up and we was really fired up, but man, we get thrown a curveball. The weather just really turned brutal on us. We had dealt with some extremely warm temperatures for that time of year in Southeast Ohio. But we wasn't discouraged. With the anticipation of the deer that we had had on camera through the summer really had us fired up and ready to go.
Finally, after all the season prep and anticipation, we made it to the Ohio lease. My drive is about 12 hours, but that wasn't going to stop me from getting in the stand on that first hunt. Cliff has a little easier. He's only about 4 hours from the lease. Let's jump right into the action and see if we can get one of these Ohio bucks to make a mistake.
All right. Well, it is October 26th, and I am in Ohio. Having my first time ever in Ohio and my first sit on the lease. We put a lot of work into this, so we're super excited about it.
Absolutely beautiful day, beautiful farm. Kind of an observation sit tonight. Just trying to see what the deer are doing. It's great to be sitting in here. We got a perfect wind for the setup that I'm at. Stephen is across the farm in a creek bottom, overlooking some standing beans. I'm in a little block of timber that's got a hay field on both sides of me.
We've got a straight north wind that's blowing me straight out over this creek behind my shoulder. There's a really large hillside up here, so we believe they're going to be bedding up in that area, and then they come down off of that hill, cross the creek and come out into this soybean plot, whether they're coming to feed or just to get over to a different area. So we've got 5 or 6 really good bucks and a couple that are, just absolute studs, but need one more year. So this place definitely has real promise.
We've got the Matthews hung up behind me, ready to go, so maybe we get lucky on the first sit, but
again, this is really just a good observation sit. I've got a Tacticam that's right here at this crossing that's in front of me at about 20 yards. We've got another Tacticam that's all the way over here at the intersection between these 2 soybean plots. So we know what deer use this place, and it's definitely exciting. So
sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
all right, so we're right at sunset. We've got 30 minutes left to go here. Still got one of those 2 little bucks. He had left the field and went back towards the creek, but came back out. And looks like he's gonna go in where the other little buck went, up on top of the hill here. Kinda cool.
Our first evening's coming down to a close. We got about 20 minutes of last legal shooting light. But it's been a great evening. Got to see some does, got to see a pretty red fox. We'll start to gain more intel and be able to move closer to these bucks, but they'll start cruising soon with a pre-rut, so get packed up, get down, go get us a bite to eat, and get a game plan for in the morning. Day 1, Ohio in the books.
And we had several deer on camera. And we had one particular deer that we called Mr. Off Limits. And we both agreed that, hey, this deer is 3.5. We really think he'll blow up into something really nice. But he stayed pretty consistent. He was on our cameras. He was at our mineral sites. So we knew he would turn into something if we just give him another year. But we also had 2 other really great deer, what we called Crayon and the short G2 buck. And they was working regularly there the 1st of October, 2nd week of October, like clockwork, hitting our trail cameras. And we was like, man, these are 2 really nice deer. Either one of us would be tickled to death with.
This segment is powered by Dark Energy.
Set up this morning. We've got a mineral site here, but not really to be set up on the mineral site. We've got a buck we call short G2. Really nice, beautiful frame, just absolutely perfect. That is frequenting this point right up in front of us here. He comes down through, it's kind of just like a, I don't know, call him Old Logging Road, whatever you want to call it, right here in front of me. He comes down that occasionally, but that's the main buck we're targeting right here. Cliff is hunting just straight across in the next draw over.
I'm back in the same stand I was last night. Me and Steven were hunting on the same side of the farm this morning. He's about 200 yards to my west, or actually to my east. End up seeing one of our shooters on trail camera. And I don't know if Steven got to see him or got a shot or anything, but we end up bumping one coming in on the e-bikes. But man, I tell you what, freaking e-bike is the ticket. I used to give guys hell all the time about riding them things, but I've got one now and it made it super easy to get in here. Super quiet, I didn't even sweat.
Well, it's a little after 9. Probably going to stay in the stand another 45 minutes, get down somewhere between 9:45 and 10, assuming it doesn't pick up. Pretty slow morning here. I've seen 2 bucks, had that small one come through and then had another one come up the exact same way, but he didn't come down. He was just a little spike also, so a couple little bucks.
Alright, it's about 9:30. We did see one shooter, but he was on the trail camera about 150 yards behind me. That was earlier, right at the crack of daylight. We ended up seeing some does run across the field. Slow this morning. I figure with the temperatures, we had it's 34, 35 degrees this morning at the crack of daylight, so I was hoping for better deer movement, but that's alright. We're starting to hone in on where they want to be and where they want to go. Any day they're going to be up cruising, looking for the first does. Here it is, the end of October, so we're going to get packed up. We've got some batteries dead in some of our Tacticams, so we're going to take the e-bikes and change a couple batteries, then get out of here and be back this afternoon, figure out where we want to sit this afternoon. But first morning's in the books. Stick with us. All right. Second evening set. I move spots. I'm in a bean field, standing bean field. Steven is probably 800 yards away from me in another bean field. He's in the same spot he set last night. and he had pretty good action. We're just waiting on the right deer to come by. So I'm watching the other big bean field, which is to the west of him.
Got a nice breeze in my face, pulling me back over this little creek. Got the soybean plot out in front of me. Last night, the activity all came from about 80 yards, 75 yards, somewhere in that ballpark, straight out in front of me. They came down, crossed the creek, came out and fed into the beans. So learning a lot more about where they come in. I know they also come up here, but nothing came that way last night. All right, first big buck on camera. He's off limits this year because he's going to be an absolute stud next year. He's on his way over in front of Cliff, so we both get to see him tonight, hopefully. Pretty cool, though. Hopefully there's another big one behind him here, and one of us will seal the deal.
What an eventful evening. Bucks are on their feet about an hour before dark. End up seeing our non-shooter, which is a 3.5-year-old, just an absolutely fantastic deer. He's just not old enough. It's cool to watch him and film him. But one of our shooters did not come by, which I thought was odd, because I thought, no way, not tonight with the weather temp drop. We'd have one to come by, but that's hunting. It was a great evening.
Cliff is probably 300 yards maybe straight that direction in the next little soybean plot. So we've got our eyes on our two main hidden hidey hole plots. This one is really secluded. That one is pretty secluded, but not quite as much as this one. So far, just those two bucks, but obviously a really good one, so we'll just wait it out, see what happens in the next 20 minutes, and make a game plan for tomorrow. We continue to learn, and what we've learned, obviously this is our new lease, so we put stands where we thought would be good, but starting to see some patterns. In this plot, they have almost all came out from about 90 yards from me, and they're filtering towards me and then out into the field. So there's a clump of trees over here at about 65, 70 yards. I think that's where this stand needs to be next year.
Study your ground. Design a plan. Plant your food. Green, grain, check. Deploy your cameras. Found him. He's a giant. Hang your stands. North wind, south wind, west wind. One over here too. Lock it down. Shoot your bow. Dial. Time to strike. Serious bow hunters rely on River's Edge. Designed for the year-long grind.
I'm back in the same stand that I was yesterday morning. I got in here and didn't disturb anything. Steven's in his stand. It's about 30 degrees this morning. You can probably see my breath. All the cameras last night was pretty dead. But any day it should turn on. It shouldn't take much, but
All right, well, it's October 28th, our third day here in Ohio. We've got a nice cool morning, the coldest morning so far. We've got frost on the ground. I've already seen 4 little deer walking across the top before shooting light. Hopefully they'll be on the move with this nice cold weather. So, got our fingers crossed.
Alright, slow morning. Blows my mind. As cold as it was, just slow. Had one little 4-point come through. It's so thick down in front of me. I couldn't even get the camera on him. But he just come, just a steady walk and just went back into the timber. So we're gonna pack up, get down, ease back out of here.
All right, day 3 in Ohio, evening sit. So, called an audible. I've been sitting about 200 yards straight over that way, but the wind has shifted, and for the next 3 or 4 days, we're gonna have a wind straight out of south. Obviously not ideal, but it's the best we can do. I brought my nested tree stand systems for the first time, my first sit in it ever. I will tell you it was easy, super easy. In fact, from the time I left our vehicle to here, it took me right about an hour to be completely set up. That includes all my camera gear and everything, so pretty darn quick and easy. But anyway, they've been coming out behind this little rope scrape that's out here and walking out into this bean field and then just milling around and then working their way towards this little pinch point that goes between these 2 bean fields. And so my hope is they do the same thing. Last night we had the off limits buck come out here and he would have been in bow range, obviously off limits, but we know the pattern now. So making a play. Hopefully one of those big deer will read that script. All right, we've got about 25 minutes of legal shooting light. Definitely been a slow night. I don't think Cliff had seen any last I talked to him, and I just had that one small buck come through. So the wind change and the rise in temperature probably has him holding up.
All right, we've lost all camera light. But there's deer everywhere in this bean field. So I'm gonna do my best to get out of here without blowing anything out of here. They didn't start moving till like 15 minutes ago.
So as we get into that week there at the end of October, the weather just kept getting warmer and warmer, and we just wasn't seeing anything move. The movement that we had prior to coming into camp just kind of stopped. I mean, like the deer vanished.
We're back in the same tree stand we've been hunting in the mornings. The cameras was a lot more active last night, but none of our shooters have showed up, so that's where we're at. We're going to make a midday move today. We're going to go set another stand just because of the different wind that we have. We have a wind out of the south this morning.
All right, well, it is Tuesday, October 29th, our 4th day here in Ohio. So we came in yesterday afternoon and hung this Lightfoot from River's Edge, just a quick, easy mobile set to get a stand in place. Got about a 40-yard shot right out to those scrapes.
The deer that we really had patterned the 1st of October kind of disappeared, and we was like, man, what's going on? Where did our deer go? And when you look at this farm, there's not a whole lot of pressure around it. But we're still not discouraged because we know at any given time, a shooter will walk out in front of us. So we hunt hard, and we don't take any time off. We hunt even in 85, 90 degree heat. We're still in the stand trying to make it happen. And as the week comes to a close, we just could not make the connection. The cameras were still quiet. We wasn't getting a whole lot of action at night. And our big deer that we had pattern had disappeared.
All right, we're back in the stand. Got a quick bite to eat, charged up a few batteries, and we're back at it. Still got a good northwest wind. Tonight's our last set. It's been a great week. The hunting could have been a little bit better, but spending camp with Stephen and his wife Christy, it's been a good week. We live for this stuff, and it's been tough hunting. We have hunted our asses off, and that's just part of it. But tonight's the last set. We're down to like the last 3 hours. Hunker in, sit down, see what happens.
We've been having pretty decent activity down in this soybean plot. The last 2 nights, there's been some chasing going on. So I brought the decoy. I've got it set up decoys at 35 yards, quartering to slightly. So hopefully, if the buck comes in, he circles around to get in the front, that's going to give me a 25-ish yard shot, maybe 25 to 30 yard shot. Well, he's fixated on the decoy, so. Hoping at least something comes out of this field. There's been deer out in this field the last, 3 nights at least, I think, that we've hunted it, so. Hoping they move early. Well, got about 10 minutes left in Ohio. Tonight, so far nothing. Doesn't look like it's going to happen on this trip. We shall see. Never know. Something could happen in 10 minutes. But if not, looks like it's planning for another trip out here potentially. We'll see.
So we left that week kind of scratching our heads, so to speak, and I tell Stephen, I was like, man, I just don't know what happened. I know that weather wasn't great for us, but these deer just completely vanished. So we got to looking, we need to make another trip, make another game plan. So we decided the first gun season in Ohio, which is the 1st of December, and we was like, it should be cold. The deer are gonna be concentrated on food. We ought to have a pretty good chance when we go back.
Obviously, coming to Ohio, we had high expectations, but we also recognized that we're still learning this property. We put stands where we anticipated the deer to be, but you never really know until you get some boots on the ground and see how they're actually using it. While neither of us were able to punch our tags on this first Ohio hunt, we've gained valuable intel that should help us be successful down the road. As the season progressed, both Cliff and I decided we needed to head back for the Ohio gun season. Stay tuned for the final episode of Season 8 to see if we can close the deal.
Wore me out. So we got that stand set. Had to climb up the tree and do some trimming for the shooting lane. But I think this will work on the south wind, so we're gonna put some rack fuel out. Go grab us about deep battery.
I want to video these apples.